What if I told you there's an island shrouded in mist and mystery? A place that appears on ancient maps but can't be found today. Some say it was a paradise, others believe it was home to an advanced civilization. But here's the twist. This island was said to vanish and reappear every 7 years. Sounds like a legend, right? Well, this is the story of Hy-Brasil, Ireland's own Atlantis. For centuries, sailors, explorers and mapmakers documented Hy-Brasil. It appeared on maps from the 1300s to the 1600s, often marked as a perfect circle, just off the coast of Ireland. But no one knows for sure if it ever really existed. Welcome back to Myles Off, I'm Dave, and today we're diving deep into the legend of Hy-Brasil. Long before the days of GPS and satellite imagery, sailors and explorers relied on maps that were as much myth as they were reality. One of these myths was the island of Hy-Brasil, an elusive land that many believe lay just off the western coast of Ireland. The earliest references to Hy-Brasil date back to the 14th century, appearing on maps as a perfectly round island, often depicted with a river or channel cutting through its centre. The name Hy-Brasil might come from the Old Irish word brisa, which means High King of the World, or it could be linked to the Celtic otherworld, a paradise hidden from mortal eyes. According to Irish folklore, Hy-Brasil was a place of unimaginable beauty and prosperity. It was said to be cloaked in mist, visible only once every 7 years. Some stories even describe it as a utopia, home to an advanced civilization with knowledge far beyond anything known at the time. Imagine an island where the streets are paved with gold, where the inhabitants possess wisdom beyond our comprehension. To some, Hy-Brasil was more than just a physical place. It was a symbol of something greater, a paradise lost to time, yet always just out of reach. But Hy-Brasil wasn't just a fantasy. For centuries it appeared on maps and in sailors' logs, described in detail by those who claimed to have seen it with their own eyes. Was this island real, or was it a case of wishful thinking, a mirage, or even a cleverly crafted tale to inspire hope and wonder? Over the years the legend grew. Hy-Brasil became the subject of countless stories passed down through the generations. It became a beacon for explorers, an elusive goal that drove many to the edge of the known world, only to return empty-handed. Or not return at all. But while many dismissed it as mere legend, others were convinced that Hy-Brasil was more than just a myth. Could there be a kernel of truth in these ancient tales? What inspired such a persistent belief in an island that no one could ever seem to find? The legend of Hy-Brasil didn't just live in the imaginations of storytellers and mapmakers though. For centuries there were those who claimed to have seen it with their own eyes. Sailors and explorers who swore that the mysterious island was real. But how credible were these accounts? One of the earliest and most famous accounts come from the voyages of St. Brendan in the 6th century. According to Irish legend, St. Brendan and his crew encountered an island filled with heavenly delights during their search for the promised land of the saints. Now, could this have been an early sighting of Hy-Brasil? Centuries later, in 1497, a Genoese navigator by the name of John Cabot, who was exploring under the English flag, reported seeing land that many believe could have been Hy-Brasil. And this was around the same time he discovered parts of North America, but he wasn't the only one with such tales. In 1674, a Scottish sea captain named John Nisbet made an astonishing claim. He reported that during a voyage from France to Ireland, he and his crew encountered Hy-Brasil. According to Nisbet, they saw the island appear out of the mist and managed to land on its shores. Captain Nisbet's account is one of the most detailed. He described an island shrouded in fog, but when the mist cleared, it revealed a fertile land with large black rabbits and a lone wizard living in a stone castle. The crew supposedly spent a day there, gathering gold and silver, before the island once again vanished into the mist. Nisbet's story was later backed up by another captain, Alexander Johnson, who claimed to have a similar experience. Now, these accounts sparked further expeditions, with many hoping to find and map this elusive island once and for all. But despite these detailed reports, no one could consistently locate Hy-Brasil. It continued to appear and disappear on maps over the centuries, tantalizing explorers and puzzling cartographers. Some speculated that the island only revealed itself under certain conditions, maybe once every 7 years, as the legend suggested. By the 19th century, Hy-Brasil had largely faded from maps and was dismissed as a myth, but the accounts of those who claimed to have seen it remain. Could it have been a real place, hidden by fog and optical illusions? Or were these sightings merely the product of seafarers' tales and the human imagination? These stories leave us with more questions than answers. What did these sailors really see? Was it a trick of the light, an undiscovered island, or something altogether more mysterious? One of the most popular theories is that Hy-Brasil was a phantom island, a geographical anomaly that appeared and disappeared due to natural phenomena. Throughout history, there have been reports of islands that seem to vanish, often due to shifting tectonic plates, underwater volcanic activity, or rising sea levels. Could Hy-Brasil have been one of these elusive landmasses? Some scientists suggest that Hy-Brasil could have been an actual island that was submerged over time, possibly due to rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age. But without any physical evidence, this theory remains speculative. Another intriguing theory is that Hy-Brasil was never a physical island at all, but rather a mirage, an optical illusion caused by specific atmospheric conditions known as a fata morgana. This phenomenon can make distant objects or islands appear to float above the water, or even multiply. Sailors, especially in the open sea, often reported seeing land that wasn't really there, only for it to vanish as they approached. This theory suggests that Hy-Brasil might have been a product of such an illusion, created by the unique interplay of light, water, and weather conditions. Then there's the theory that Hy-Brasil was home to a lost civilization, perhaps even a distant cousin to the legendary Atlantis. According to this theory, Hy-Brasil was a real place, inhabited by an advanced society with knowledge and technologies far beyond what was known at the time. Some believe that this civilization was responsible for the stories of an island paradise filled with wealth and wisdom that eventually disappeared without a trace. Could Hy-Brasil have been an outpost of an ancient forgotten culture that was lost to history? In Celtic mythology, there are tales of the Otherworld, a realm of gods, spirits, and magical beings that exist parallel to our own. Some theories suggest that Hy-Brasil might not have been a physical place at all, but rather a gateway to this mystical realm. According to this interpretation, the island's periodic appearances and disappearances could be explained by its connection to the supernatural. Perhaps Hy-Brasil was never meant to be found, only glimpsed by those lucky enough, or chosen enough, to see it. Each of these theories offers a different lens through which to view the mystery of Hy-Brasil. Was it a real island, a trick of the eye, or something beyond our understanding? The truth may be lost to time, but the intrigue remains. The mystery of Hy-Brasil has captivated people for centuries, but what does modern science have to say about this elusive island? One of the first places scientists looked for answers was beneath the waves. Using advanced sonar and satellite imagery, researchers have mapped the ocean floor in unprecedented detail, hoping to find any evidence of a submerged landmass where Hy-Brasil was said to be. So far, no solid evidence of a sunken island matching Hy-Brasil's description has been found. However, there are underwater features like seamounts and ridges that could have created the illusion of land, especially in rough seas or under certain lighting conditions. Another scientific explanation involves atmospheric phenomena, particularly the fata morgana. This complex form of mirage occurs when layers of air at different temperatures cause light to bend, making objects on the horizon appear distorted, elevated, or even duplicated. This could explain why sailors reported seeing an island that vanished as they approached. The fata morgana effect can make distant coastlines, or even ships, look like floating islands, creating a convincing illusion of land where none exists. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the mystery of Hy-Brasil has inspired modern searches. In recent years, with the advent of drones and more precise satellite technology, researchers and enthusiasts have revisited the area where Hy-Brasil was believed to be, hoping to solve this mystery once and for all. Interestingly, some scientists have proposed that if Hy-Brasil did exist, it might have been a small temporary island created by volcanic activity or shifting sandbanks, something that could appear and disappear over time, which would fit with the legend. Beyond the scientific curiosity, Hy-Brasil holds a powerful place in cultural and symbolic history. It has been referenced in myths, folklore, and even in the work of some modern writers and filmmakers who are drawn to the idea of a hidden paradise or an undiscovered world. Hy-Brasil has become a symbol of the unknown, an idea that there are still mysteries out there waiting to be uncovered. Now, whether as a metaphor for exploration or as a literal place, the island continues to inspire us to look beyond the horizon and question what we think we know. What is the truth about Hy-Brasil? Despite centuries of speculation, it remains one of the great unsolved mysteries. But perhaps that's what makes it so compelling. Whether it's a lost island, an optical illusion, or a piece of ancient mythology, Hy-Brasil challenges us to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep searching for the unknown. After centuries of exploration, countless theories, and even modern scientific inquiry, the mystery of Hy-Brasil remains as captivating as ever. From its origins in ancient folklore to the scientific studies of today, this elusive island continues to inspire both curiosity and wonder. But whether Hy-Brasil was a real island, a product of optical illusions, or simply a beautiful myth, it has left an indelible mark on history. It has become a symbol of the mysteries that still remain in our world, a beacon of the undiscovered and the unexplored.